somehow so-called defenses of movies and TV shows are getting worse. The one I'm talking about today has been around for a little while now, but it's becoming a little more prevalent, and I'll get to why in a second. And surprisingly, unlike most of these, it has nothing to do with people using the bullshit diversity and representation excuse, which is probably worse than the one I'm talking about today, but it's still pretty bad. And this is the argument that's recently been trying to made for, you guessed it, the Percy Jackson TV series. And again, these aren't defenses, this is an excuse, and a particularly sucky one at that it shouldn't matter that it's going to suck, because it's made for children. Now, I've seen this argument before. It became a lot more prevalent after The Last Jedi, because there were a lot of so-called defenses of The Last Jedi, all of which were terrible. Like, people complain that they didn't get the movie they wanted, or there was like personal bias or some shit. And one of the arguments that stuck out to me that I noticed a lot was that it was made for children, so it doesn't matter. George Lucas made Star Wars for 12-year-olds, so that automatically no longer makes this movie bad. And I've seen this being used the last few years, defending pretty much anything that's aimed toward a younger audience, or all ages, I guess. And now it's, of course, cropped up because the Percy Jackson fanbase is officially out of ways to defend this garbage heap of a show. So, like I said, the first time I saw this crop up, I guarantee it probably wasn't the first time it's ever been used, but where it started getting popular was with The Last Jedi. And I just went over why it's like, oh yeah, George Lucas said he set out to make a sci-fi movie for 12-year-olds. But his intended audience was very different from his actual audience. His actual audience reached a wide array of ages. All ages enjoy Star Wars. Or at least can enjoy Star Wars, I should say. And that's the same thing with everything nowadays. This was a similar argument that came up for people that criticize Sonic the Hedgehog. They said, oh, it's a kid's movie, so you need to stop being so hard on it. And I have just one question to debunk this argument, and that question is, why? It's a simple enough question, really, because, and I've said this many times, I don't know if I've ever said it on the channel, I probably have at some point, but target audience is never an excuse for quality. I don't care if you're aiming your movie for 5-year-olds or 55-year-olds, do it well or don't do it at all. And this is what these idiots cannot understand. This argument is based solely on the fact that everything made for kids is stupid and poorly written. And that's not true. Now, I've of course come up with a couple of examples, Last Jedi, Sonic the Hedgehog, and now Percy Jackson, all of which have made very stupid decisions, and people try to defend it by saying it's aimed for kids and teenagers. And for the record, because this is mostly pointed at the Percy Jackson fanbase now, because now they're trying to use this one, why don't I use it right now? So guess what? You guys can't complain about the Percy Jackson movies because they were aimed for kids and teenagers. So they can't defend it now. Or they can't complain about it now. But they won't accept that because it won't fit their narrative. They won't allow that argument to be used against something they hate, but they'll gladly use it for something that either hasn't come out yet that they're desperately trying to defend for God knows what reason, or it's something that they like or like the mainstream media is trying to defend, like something like Last Jedi. And I already asked the question, why? Because it has been shown that media aimed for for kids, teenagers, all of that stuff can be done well. Are you seriously gonna, because the Pixar did this for 15 years. They've been kind of sucking at it recently, but for the first 15 years, they made movies for all ages. They made movies that were geared towards a younger demographic but were hailed as masterpieces by adults as well. Why? Because they were good movies. And then you have shit like I said, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I understand that there are adults that liked this crap. I don't really understand why, but whatever. I did like the second movie. I did a review of that, and I did like the second one, but the first one is just fucking atrocious. And I get there are people that like it, and if it's purely for the nostalgia kick, fair enough, I guess, but if you thought it was a legitimately well-made and well-written movie, I have to wonder what you're smoking. And again, the argument saying, oh, it's a kid's movie, so the bad writing doesn't matter, that's horseshit. There's no other way to put it. It's horseshit. Because saying it's aimed for kids is not an excuse to justify shitty writing. But this excuse has been being used for years now, it's gonna keep being used, and it's gonna be just as pathetic. These stupid fan bases, especially ones regarding Disney, just keep finding new ways to make themselves look like idiots. And it's quite impressive, really. Impressive for the wrong reasons, but it's impressive nonetheless. I am very impressed that these Percy Jackson fans keep digging their own grave here. Because they're just making themselves look stupid at this point. They think they're making themselves look super intelligent by this stuff, but they're not. Because if they actually saw what they were doing, because I don't think any of them have a single brain cell to rub together to actually write anything coherent or anything logical in any comment section on any video that dares to criticize the god of Rick Riordan, who can go fuck himself, by the way. Again, I feel the need to say that in every single one of these videos, because I fucking hate him. But, yeah, and if someone can explain to me why this argument is valid, and I guarantee none of you can without making yourself look like an idiot, please let me know. And I will sure to have a good laugh at your argument. Because it won't be very good, I can guarantee you that. So that's all I got. I've got some reviews to catch up on, so I'll be doing a lot of combo reviews for next couple days, and then I'll get my ranking, or my top, this time it'll be a top 15 best and worst of the year, so I'll see y'all then. Bye.